Sonic Heroes is one of the more infamous Sonic games in this series, but despite that, it's a game that's beloved by a lot of fans. But Sonic Heroes had a lot, and I mean a lot of content and things that just didn't end up how they were originally planned. So in today's episode of what this game could have looked like, we're going to be taking a look at Sonic Heroes. We'll take a look into its development to see why things turned out the way they did. We'll see things that were either cut, heavily altered from the original game like stages and music, even a beta that was found nearly 20 years after the release of the game. So if you want to see all of that, make sure to watch the whole video. And if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And guys, we hit 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We're halfway to 10K. I want to talk about, just to give my thoughts a bit at the end of the video, so make sure to stick to the end to hear what I have to say. And without further ado, let's get to the first part of the video, the development of Sonic Heroes. Saying that Sonic Heroes was development hell would be the understatement to end all understatements, and unfortunately it wouldn't be the last time this happens. So Sega have officially just went third party, and now Sonic Team has the opportunity to make Sonic games for multiple consoles. So with 19, yes, you heard me, 19 people, Takai Shizuka and Sonic Team started development on Sonic Heroes. Since they were making this game for multiple consoles, Sonic Team used Renderware, a software that would allow them to develop for those consoles. This same engine was used to make Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas, and 3, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, and the biggest game of all, the Godfather game for the PlayStation 3. But since Sonic Team was unfamiliar with it, since they never done it before, it led to a lot of issues with the engine. And it didn't help that they had less than 2 years to make the game. Yeah, so another thing, since Sega wanted this game to be as well known as possible, along with the entire Sonic brand, they decided to do a collab with McDonald's to make a Sonic Happy Meal. What is it that they say? History is doomed to repeat itself? So now Sonic Team were on a time crunch. They had to make this game for the holiday season. So that means conceptualization, development, and polishing all had to be done in 20 months. Now, that would be fine if there was a good amount of people working on the game. I mean, Sonic Adventure was made in 10 months with only 60 to 100 people. But remember that games get harder to develop as technology advances, and that this game was made with only 19 people. And according to Izuka, there was only 2 level designers, himself and another guy. But when the other guy got sick, he took all of the level design work. He said that he never slept and lost 22 pounds working on this game. This game literally nearly killed him. And the final product is played with a lot of reused content, with every stage being reused for every story with minimal changes, bugs galore, and certain parts of the game being worse than others. So with that being said, let's get into the cut content and changed content of Sonic Heroes. So first thing I want to look at is the concept art, because there's a lot of it, and when looking at it, more than half of it seems to be made for Seaside Hill. And when looking at the final game, it's definitely the stage with the most thought put into it. Looking at the concept art, they've had everything planned out. They had the different terrain, the structures, including this really cool loop with a whale on top. They had all the symbols and hieroglyphs sketched out. And when looking at all of the concept art, my personal favorite one is the colored in one, which seems to combine all of the elements of the concept art into one image. It's clear that Sonic Team put the most effort, or at least had the most planning for this stage, as it basically looks one-to-one with the final game. Now, as we move forward, things start to change. Casino Park looks a bit different. The floor has a bit of a different roulette table design. Maybe they were planning the stage to be an actual fucking level instead of whatever this is. Rail Canyon seems to remain mostly the same. Obviously, there's no rails yet, but looking at Bullet Station, it seems that it would have leaned way more into that western theme. Like, there's fucking cactuses holding up the fucking railway. Frog Forest seems a bit different, because it looks like they were going to be on their fucking Jurassic Park shit. The foliage also just seems a bit more like something you would see in like a Jurassic Park movie or something like that. Now, Hang Castle is really cool because it actually goes for the namesake, because it's a fucking castle hanging off the fucking ceiling of a planet, I don't know, in the base game where you just go onto the ceiling. this is actually such a cool idea for a stage. Egg Fleet seems like it was originally going to be Final Fortress, because look, it's the same vibe, thunderclouds and the whole stage just being more akin to Final Fortress. Because when we look at the final concept art for Final Fortress, it looks like it was going to be a completely different stage. Instead of being in the sky, it was going to be an underwater base, which means Final Fortress is technically an unused stage. Speaking of unused stages, we have two here that never made it past concept stages. We have one pirate theme with Sonic running along like a skeleton with a pirate ship in the back, and this really cool ancient ruin stage. Now this looks like an abandoned civilization, and this one really bums me out because it would have been so cool to see the stage. It looks like it could have been some ancient advanced civilization, kind of like the ancients from Frontiers, since the statues and mountains look like robots. Jumping from one thing to another, I want to look at the prototype version of the intro because there are some pretty interesting changes. So the first notable thing to point out is that obviously it's not finished. There's some parts that are old renders, while some parts are just storyboards, right? Something that I first noticed is that instead of the ground being made of seaside hill textures, it's using the green hill checkerboards. Then I was immediately taken back by the different version of the Sonic Heroes main theme, Sonic Heroes. Anyways, it definitely sounds interesting. But I wasn't given any time to rest because literally a few seconds later, I was gifted by the soothing sound of Johnny Joeli humming the melody of the song. It's not even an instrumental, they just decided to do a little trolling and add that in there. Now, the rest of the intro structurally goes about the same way. Nothing is really different, but it's cool to see some storyboards and early unfinished renders. And I still can't get over Johnny just, like, he decided, like, just to fuck around. Like, Johnny Joeli, if you ever come across this video, please let me know what you were thinking. And since we're on the topic of music, Sonic Heroes has a handful of tracks that differ from the final game. So really quick, I want to go through with the ones that I found the most notable changed with. First up, Ocean Palace. The prototype goes for a more tropical vibe with the prominent bongos and flutes in the background. And they committed a cardinal sin. There is no slap bass. What did they do? Ah! Regardless, here you can listen to it. Up next we have Robot Carnival. Now, listening to the original, it's a nice rock piece with some electronic thrown in there. Now, how does the prototype sound? Huh. Interesting. This sounds like it's from a completely different game. Yeah, so they just used the Sonic vs. Shadow and Green Forest as a placeholder. And Hang Castle, completely different vibe. The prototype completely gets rid of that hip-hop vibe that the final game had in its favor for a more traditional spooky stage. And those are the most notable changes that I could find, at least with the prototype OST. And last but not least, let's take a look at the demo of Sonic Heroes that was found nearly 20 years after the game initially released. Now, a little bit of history. This is a PS2 demo of the game that apparently dates all the way back to September 28th, 2003, just about 3 months before the game was supposed to release. And when looking at some of the major changes of the game with the demo being so close to release, the development crunch really starts to show here. First off, some level designs are not finalized yet. We can see that with Team Chaotix especially, where most of the levels just use Sonic Team's layout. For example, when looking at Hang Castle for Chaotix, it literally uses Team Sonic level design. There is a trail of rings that is supposed to be used for a lightspeed dash, but since no one on Chaotix can lightspeed dash, it's not there. They literally have to use Charmy to fly over to the next section. And something that I found really eerie is that there's no music and some sound effects just don't play. which makes the whole stage very, very creepy, and I don't like it. A lot of the differences here just seem to be technical. Besides all of that, like the CGI cutscenes have some damage on the bottom of the borders, some items have missing textures like we can see here with this block here, and with the Metal Overlord. Overall performance on the PS2 specifically was the lowest, running at 30 FPS while every other system ran at 60, but despite that the game had a 50 and 60 Hz option, but the 60 Hz option doesn't even fucking work and the game runs 50 no matter what. The game even has a debug mode when you press the left and right buttons, and you can visit any base stage, special stage, bonus stage, boss stage, 2-player stage in the game, and something called demo mode, which is interesting. Probably if you activate it, it activates the demo of the game, most likely. Something that's interesting is that we could even see the beta names for the games, which I would assume are the code names. Like we have stages like Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace are called Ocean, Casino Park is Casino, Egg Fleet and Final Fortress are Sky Egg, etc, etc. And besides some smaller stuff like the graphics being a bit lower than the final product and some small technical stuff, those are the big notable changes from the demo to the final game. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what Sonic Heroes could have looked like if things went a bit differently. Like I said before, if this game got a remake and it fixed up a lot of the issues, this could be a really, really good game because it has a lot of potential, but it sucks, man. It sucks, man. When we talk about Sonic Team today, a lot of issues really stem from all the way in the back when Sega Sammy was purchased, and they merged and became Sega Sammy. And that's a whole other video. Actually, there's a really good video called Why Sega Isn't Overprotective with Its Intellectual Property by the Moon Channel, and it goes into super heavy detail about this whole issue. So if you guys are interested, go check that guy's channel out. But I have said my piece today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and once again, thank you guys so much for 5,000 subscribers. Holy shit, we're halfway there to 10K. We just gotta do it 5,000. We gotta get 5,000 more subs. Of course, just want to say thank you to everybody who's been here since the beginning. Everybody who's been here fucking yesterday. I could not be here without y'all. Every time I get another 1,000, I'm like, holy shit, how does this keep happening, right? And I don't know when it's gonna really settle in that I don't know, people actually like my videos and are subscribing and watching. I'm truly blessed, and I think we're gonna go far. I have high hopes for us. And that's all I gotta say for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one.